I wanted to tell you about two experiences I've had in New York City, hence the background for today's video. One of which was probably about 6 years ago now, right around to this time of year, which is to say springtime. So that was one instance that I wanted to tell you about, and then also another one that literally just happened to me the other day when I was in the street. And both of which I feel like say a lot about one of the common experiences we have as women of color, non-binary people of color in general, which is this like dual thing of both always having kind of eyes on us in a way that's feeling like, ooh, I'm going to catch you out on something, and then also simultaneously being unseen or completely disregarded. Okay, so this is what happened. I'll tell you about the old situation first, which was again like 6 years ago. I was just starting out in my business. At that time, it was completely different business. My 1.0 of my business was trying to do like nonprofit consulting and kind of strategic planning work, like helping with program management and things like that. All things kind of designed to make nonprofit social justice organizations be better for their staff and employees. Funnily enough, we've kind of come full circle on that. But anyway, back then it was not working. I had to work so hard even to get one pro bono gig. And so I was showing up to this pro bono gig, which was in the Bronx at a school. And I remember I was wearing like a blazer, like I tended to do a lot back then. One of my court jackets or whatever, is wearing a blazer, um, probably whatever, like dress pants or something like that. And I had my backpack, which is like a signature thing I still do to this day. Backpack is my bag of preference. Anyway, so I was like standing outside about to go into the school, and I think I was on my phone checking something before I went into the school because I was a little bit early. And I remember two school cops, like school safety officers, like rolled up or something like that. Or they might have been actual like NYPD cops. I honestly don't remember, but they like pull up next to me, and one of them was like, "Hey, how old are you?" And I was like, "What?" And as a former public defender, I was like acutely aware, like I don't need to talk to you. But I was so taken aback by just the interaction or whatever. And the guy like asked again, and I was kind of just like, uh, fine, like I'll answer you after a little bit of back and forth, or whatever. And I was like, I'm 33. And then the partner like laughed at the one other cop who asked me the question, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And they like rolled on. So like clearly, what I pieced together as happening after the fact was that they actually thought that I was a truant student. Like they saw me, even though I was wearing my blazer, and like I think I probably had a briefcase as well because like I'm also a two bag person. When it comes down to it, they thought I was like I don't know 16, maybe 15, 14, like in that range, and like supposed to be in school. And I was laughing about it just because I mean I know I read young to a lot of people, but like it's still what I was like 33 at the time. So anyway, that was one situation, and I feel like it's one example, albeit given my privilege as who I am and how I read to people, like I don't experience eyes being on me in a violent way. At worst, it's like something like that. Okay, so flash forward, I guess, to a few days ago. I was on the street. I was on a phone call that I had to take outside, and I was kind of just pacing back and forth on the street, trying to avoid like the street cleaning, street sweeper truck to do my phone call. And I was kind of walking slowly, but like next to the wall, so I wasn't really blocking traffic on the sidewalk. And then all of a sudden I hear behind me, like, I don't know, somebody saying something like, I can't even literally remember what the guy said, but I like looked around and was like an older white dude was like carrying a cup of coffee, and he was going right into the entrance that I was right by at that point. And in a sense, okay, I get it. I'm glad that he told me he was there because like otherwise he could have run into me and like the coffee might have spilled on both of us, that type of thing. But also it just felt like the feeling and the energy was very much just like I don't know, complete disregard of like me as someone who also has a right to be walking on the sidewalk. Like he easily could have waited for me to pace back the other way to then go in, right? But like I had to accommodate this other person. So that is kind of the illustration of I think how a lot of times we face things in the world. Like it's like we have to adapt to your culture, your situation. We have to make sure we're a good fit for your institution or however you do your ways or whatever. And there's no reciprocity in like any adaptation to what we may need or consideration of how things might feel or land for us. You know, being people who support multiple family units or doing 10 jobs already or may have numerous past racial and also other workplace traumas that may easily get triggered by different things that are happening. So I wanted to share these two stories simply to say this is why it's so important for us. I mean, a couple of things. Like, we can't change or control how other people treat us, and it's not our fault how other people may treat us in these situations, right? Like, it's not like it was on me or us to adjust our behavior in those cases to be hyper vigilant and like make sure that nothing like happens to us, right? No victim blaming here. Um, but there are a few things that we can do to make sure that when these things happen to us, we like it either rolls off our back or we bounce right back or we have something that we are going to say to advocate for ourselves in response or that type of thing. And to me, it boils down to a few things. One, being super clear on what it is that is your mission in your career, which does not have to be a collective mission, by the way. It can be a mission that's based solely in your individual needs or like what you want out of your career and for your family and loved ones and all those things. Being super clear on your mission, always kind of driving towards that, and also making sure that to counterbalance all of the negative things that may happen to you, like without notice, that you have also your community of people who are your positive reinforcements, the people who are affirming to you, who will continue to help you hold that vision for yourself, driving towards your mission, because that is crucial. Like, you don't want to be in a situation where you're alone and isolated and you're the only person who can like has to face this by themselves. Like, that's another thing that I think is harmful, that is something conditioned into us, that we just have to like do this ourselves and it's weak to ask for help and all these things. But that's not it at all. We are stronger together, and making sure that you assemble that collective for you, that community for you, those sets of people who can help you hold that vision, keep you energized, motivated, like moving towards it, helping you strategize, helping you just listening to you vent about like when the fucked up things do happen. Like, having those safe, trusted people who provide that psychological safety, who hold this for you and with you and make that container for you to be seen and held, not in a way that's like judgmental, it's waiting to catch you up. I mean, that's crucial because we're always going to be under a different lens of scrutiny. We're always going to feel eyes on us in a different way than your cishet straight white men of a certain class. And also, we're going to be erased and invisibilized and marginalized too by the same token. So make sure that you are clear on what it is that you're doing and why, and also make sure that you have your people there to support you, because none of us does this alone successfully. Anyways, all right. Good luck. Bye.